Hello everyone. Welcome to our new session of the Out of the Box Developer. We are here every other week on Tuesdays, and today we have two special guests here that will join us in a moment. But first, I want to welcome our amazing team here. Uh, Starting with you, Pedro, how are you doing?
Hey, hello, Luis. Hello, everybody. Uh, yeah, we're good, and of course, today is a very special moment. So it's not always that we have Bruno here. So, and Bruno started this podcast like long ago, and now every time we have him is a great moment for us. So yeah, no, can't wait.
Nice. And you, Thiago, how are you doing?
Hello everyone. Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Today you have Bruno and also the deliberate repetition formula that it's very cool. There are many insights on this formula, so I'm very excited.
Nice. And today we have Igor Fraga here after some sessions. Where were you, Igor?
Hi, Luis. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you guys again. Now I'm back to South America after traveling across 6 countries in Europe. It was an amazing trip from where I've been working, and this was my experience working as a digital nomad. And we can have just a whole session to talk about it. It was amazing. A lot of things happened. Having meetings inside the Eiffel Tower was one of the remarkable things. That's a great thing that you can do while you're working remotely across the board. Now, after a lot of travel, a lot of visiting places, being with the family, I'm back home, so I'm taking vacations from the vacations. It was not exactly vacations, 'cause I've been working through them, but amazing experience, and we can have just a whole session to talk about it. But today we are going to have our amazing guest here, Bruno, talking about the reputation formula, something so needed these days if you want to stand out and be competitive in this crazy market that we have these days. So it's a pleasure to be with you guys again, especially on this session that Bruno will join us shortly.
Great. How about you, Hugo? How are you doing?
Hey Luis, hello everyone. Yeah, I'm great. In a rush, still in a rush here at work, but yeah, I'm looking forward for this discussion. I think uh, it's the most important thing on career, right? Building our reputation, and I feel as a mentor, a manager at the team, that many people still uh, doesn't have clarity on this topic, or they forgot to think about how to build a reputation, and it's especially for those that is more there's already a few years already working, a few years of experience working, and they feel stuck, and because they follow it just the task that they have to accomplish, and doesn't focus so much on where they want to go, what they want to become, how they want to be recognized. So I think that's a lot of things. uh, Bruno is my reference when we talk about career, right? So it's a great way to learn new stuff on this topic, or not have to be new, right? It's sometimes it's something that is for a long time there. We just doesn't focus on the right things. So yeah, I'm looking forward at this discussion.
Okay. And last but not least, Sheila, you were with Bruno in the past few weeks in Europe in some events. And maybe you're the first one that learned from him, directly from him, about the new reputation formula. So how are you doing, and what can you tell us about it?
Hello, everyone. Hello, Luis, and good evening, everyone. So it's a pleasure for me to be here. And yes, you are right. So I heard about Bruno's new reputation formula because, he had a now old formula, which is about maybe 2 years old. And for his European trip, he prepared a new formula, which, if you don't know yet, that will be a surprise, maybe. But I'm sure Bruno will explain us everything we should know about it. So I'm looking forward to it. I already saw his formula, so
We are all excited about it. So without further ado, we can welcome our guest here. Hello, Bruno. How are you doing?
Hey, hello everyone. So good to be here with all of you. Hey,
oh,
Hello.
look at this. Such an awesome crowd here. I mean, we don't even, just you guys here already big audience, right? So thanks so much. Awesome to be here with you. It's such an amazing group of developers. The out of the box developers always is something that I mean, always watching and paying attention to what you guys are doing. So it's always an honor to be here with you. I'm not sure if my internet is good or not, but we do what we can, right?
Where
It's
are
okay.
you
It's
right
flowing.
now?
It's working. We could hear you perfectly.
mhm.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So right now I'm in Strasbourg. It's a city near Switzerland, right in France, near Switzerland. And I was in Switzerland with Tila, just like it looks like 3 months ago, but it was just like 2 days ago. And since after I saw Tila, we climbed the one of the most, I mean, not actually climbed, but we went up one of the most famous mountains of Switzerland and took pictures there and did a snowman in the snow. And but that seems like a different age, right? But since then I traveled to Lille, France, and had a good conversation there with a friend of mine, Vincent, and gave a talk to the user group there. And now then I travel again this morning. I'm now here in Strasbourg, and I already gave a talk to the user group tonight. And then I finished there, came here to see you guys. I've I ate a McDonald's on the way.
I did it a lot during the trip. It saves our lives sometimes.
Yeah, not that exactly the thing that I wanted, right? But at least I could come here and be here on time. So good, so good to be here with you guys.
We appreciate your effort to be here. Thank you one more time. And what about the deliberate reputation formula? It is a new thing. What can you say about it for us?
Yeah. So one thing I want to say is that I just got a link here really quick because Luis sent me a link. We might have a guest today, and so let me just send the link to him. So we have. Let's see if he can join us because here in Strasbourg, I found out that a good friend of mine, Andre, is actually lives here, right? So, and he might join us here, but he got the train to his house, so I'm not sure how long it's going to take for him to get there. But yeah, this whole thing about reputation, guys. Reputation is the most important thing that we can have in our careers, and reputation is more important than your salary, is more important than your job. It's probably more important than your house, right? Because the reputation is the thing that's going to get you all of that, right? Actually, I was very interesting that I was talking about reputation yesterday, and a friend of mine, that did not even know what I was doing, anything like this, he sent me a message talking about like a top marketer called Don Kennedy, and he was, and said, Bruno, I read this here and thought about you, right? So he sent this phrase from Dan Kennedy, where he says that in all the money they're gonna make, it's not from your services, it's not from your products. All the money you're gonna make is from your reputation, right? And so, reputation is something that's very, very important for all of us, and it is the thing that's gonna get us good jobs, right? And it's gonna get us in interesting projects. And the more we are in interesting projects, the more we are in things that are hard to solve and challenging, the better we get, the better we become, the more technical we are. And so it's a virtual cycle, right? It's the whole idea of reputation, of building a reputation is this very, very cool virtual cycle. And the idea of the deliberate reputation is that reputation has to be deliberate. The same way, I always keep thinking about what we talk about deliberate practice, right? So deliberate practice. So you have practice, right? People practice things, but practice things does not guarantee they're going to improve. They're going to get better, right? So you have to practice with purpose, with the exact purpose for you to improve, right? So that's what we call purposeful practice, right? That you practice something with the goal of improving a skill, improving an ability that you have. Now, deliberate practice is one step above, right? That when you use proven methods, right, that allow you to improve, right? So basically, deliberate practice is purposeful practice with using proven methods, right? And that's the thing that I want for all of you guys in terms of reputation, right? Because reputation is something that you have whether you want or not. Basically, everyone has a reputation, because reputation is what people believe about you. So people believe something about you, right? And if they don't even know you, they come up with something, right? So you always have a reputation. But if you really want to have a reputation that gives you results, right, that actually gets you where you want to get, then you have to purposefully direct your reputation to the direction that you want, right? So a reputation with purpose, right, is purposeful reputation, right? That's one that takes you where you want. Now, achieving that purposeful reputation, you can achieve in all crazy ways, right? But we do have a process that works. We do have a process that guarantees that you're going to get a good reputation. And that's what reputation, right? The reputation is purposeful reputation using a proven method that you can actually advance. So that's the whole idea behind the reputation formula, right? It's exactly, the deliberate reputation formula is exactly that. We get a set of things that work, a set of things that you can do to increase your reputation, and then you do those things with conscience and purposefully and daily, right, to actually get the reputation that you want, and the reputation that you deserve. And the more you do that, the more you get visibility, the more you get interesting jobs, the more you get interesting people. Not only because it's not only about jobs, right? It's about interesting people, right? So here, being a place like this with such amazing guys, such amazing developers, you gotta want to be here, right? You gotta want to participate. Otherwise, those things just don't. I mean, they could happen randomly, but randomly it doesn't help us, right? So we actually have to work to make it happen. So that's the idea of the deliberate reputation.
Okay. We have Sony just said aloha to us in the chat. So we're doing this live. If you are watching us, please send a message. Tell us where are you from, and maybe send us a question. And our second guest just arrived.
There's a bunch of people watching us. So say hello in the chat, guys. If you're watching us, no matter where you are, it's on LinkedIn or Twitter or or YouTube. There's so many channels on YouTube that we're transmitting this. So wherever you are, say hello. Right? It's a pleasure to be here with you. So we can can have a conversation. We can help you on your reputation, right?
Just let us know from where you're watching us in the chat.
Very, very cool.
Okay. So, Andre just arrived here. Bruno, do you want to ask him to tell about him, or I can tell
you
him?
know, so it was very, very interesting that I found a good friend, Andre, that joined us, that was here. He lives in Strasbourg. I have no idea that he lives in Strasbourg. So I know Andre from he's one of the organizers of DevVox Ukraine, and so it's and he's a specialist in distributed computing, right? So Andre, join us here, man.
Oh yeah.
Hello,
Nice.
Andre.
Yeah,
Welcome.
nice to meet you, Bruno. Again, haven't seen for 30 minutes. Yeah, I am from Ukraine. Previous organized Java Day Ukraine, then it was transformed to the DevOps Ukraine. And not distributed computing, distributed systems, because distributed computing about more computing, like high performance computing, like cracking some physical stuff. And distributed system it's a little bit different, so it shouldn't work in a performant way, but it should work in a distributed environment way.
Right. That's very cool. Very, very cool. So it's nice that we're just walking in the Strasbourg city, and so we're probably gonna get Andre invite you to a conversation about distributed system then, right? So yeah, because Andre works with all kinds of technology, right, Andre?
Yes. Mostly work for it was the company Hazelcast, and it is interesting that they wrote the distributed system map only used the core Java technology. So without any frameworks, built only on top of the raw Java, and implement cool well-known protocols. But if you have some protocols that is written in some scientific paper, it doesn't mean that it will work in the real life, in the production environment, as it's supposed in a scientific paper. So yeah, I had a talk for 2.5 hours about what problems you can have in a distributed environment, and all of these problems that I faced it when I work for Hazelcast, and we have found in our clients in the real world examples, they all problems that they face it.
Yeah, very, very cool, man. So glad that you're here for this conversation. And today we're going to be talking about reputation, right?
Yeah.
And it's interesting because we're just at the user group, at the SS user group, right? So how do I say, Andre? SS. Because it's not SAS, right? SAS user group. Yes, because that's the region, right? So it's not actually Strasbourg, right? So it's the region here. Yeah. Okay. So we're there. We just had a conversation, like 2-hour call, 2-hour meetup, talking about reputation, right? So we're gonna do a little bit more here, right? All right. So how do you guys want me to do this? I actually have the reputation formula right here in a sticker format, right? And so it's right here, right? So should I show in sticker format, or should I show in his slides? Maybe you should do a slide, right? So how about this?
Yeah, I believe for the audience, this will be better for the audience with slides.
Yeah. Let me see here. Let me get then.
While Bruno is getting the slides, I want to say hello here to Ricardo from São Paulo, Brazil.
Hey,
hello, Ricardo.
Hey,
and
Ricardo.
also Samuel is present here
Samuel.
with us. Samuel is from Soljava, São Paulo. Hello, Samuel.
Good to see you again, Samuel.
And also Dani. Hello, Dani. Dani is from Soljava, Brasília. Lots of people from Soljava here. Nice to see you.
Soljava is here very strongly.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Yes. All right. Let me see here if I can remove those things. Yes. Okay. Good. All right. So let me share my screen here then. Let's see if I can share this. Okay, so basically, 2 years ago, I was here in Europe, right? And okay, I think this one here. Yes, all right. Okay. All right, so you guys see this? It's all fully blank.
Yes. I can show? Can I show yet?
Yeah. You can
Okay.
show. Yes.
That's it.
Okay. That's we start from a blank screen. How about that, right?
Yeah, nice.
Looks good.
Okay. Looks good, right? So yes. All right. So I'm just gonna move this Windows here so I can see a little bit.
Hello to Janemis.
Okay.
Janemis, Paraíba.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey Janemis, how you doing, man? So good to have you here. All right. So guys, first thing that I want to talk to you about is the whole notion of reputation, right? So as I was telling you, reputation is what people believe about you, right? And here's the one thing. The other day we had Heinz Kabutz, a friend of ours, here in this group, right, and having a conversation about career. And Heinz told me something that day that I think was very important, and that has to do with reputation, has to do with visibility, but especially has to do with improving. Because one thing that we always want to do, we want to get better. We want to be a better developer. We want to have better results. We want to do better, right? And for that, we need to improve our technology, right? Improve our skills, improve our abilities. And lots of people believe that the way that we do is that we improve our abilities, and then because we have better abilities, then we can get more interesting problems, right? But in reality, that's how Heinz was talking about, right? So Heinz is saying that if you position yourself as an expert, you are the one that gets called to solve the hardest problems. And when you solve the hardest problems, that's when you become the expert, right? And so I think that's important for us to understand that reputation actually comes first, right? When you have a good reputation, you're the person that gets the phone call. You're the person that gets called to amazing projects. And so if you don't have a reputation, if you don't position yourself, then what happens is that when an expert is needed, they call someone else and not you, and then you don't get to become the expert, right? And I think that's a very important concept, that visibility, reputation brings expertise, right? Lots of people think that, oh yeah, just I want to be an expert first, and then I want to have visibility. But it's visibility, it's reputation that gets you expertise, right? And so when I was here, and so for us to do this, for us to get this expertise, for us to get this positioning, right? That's why we have the reputation. And I call this a reputation formula because, and by the way, it's a reputation for career, okay? No, it's not any reputation. Just, I don't know other reputation, how it works, but on career, that's how it works, right? And so it's a formula, right? So that means, it has something divided by something. That means that there are some things that you got to do. You got to do more to increase your reputation, right? And then there are some things that you actually have to reduce. You're going to do less to increase your reputation, right? And so that's the idea of the formula. And 2 years ago, like Thilo was talking about, right? I was here in Europe, and I for JCon, and for the first time I presented the reputational formula outside of the group, right? So outside my mentees, and I think the reputational formula is very, very simple. I love how simple it is, right? Because that's the reputational formula here. So it's Vivascrid divided by EMDA. Very simple, very easy to memorize, right? And you can just apply this in your career. But then people kept telling me, Bruno, this is too complicated. I cannot understand what is this. I cannot even remember those letters, right? It's just too complicated. And so I said, okay, so how about you rearrange the letters a little bit, right? So I kind of changed the letters from different positions, and I got to a better version that's, his verse divided. I don't even know how to say that one, right? So, but then, what I did is that I got ChatGPT and said, hey, I want to change the concepts there to better words, right? And that's what I'm presenting here for you guys for the first time, the new reputation formula, that is just changing those concepts for better words, and that is reputation. Okay, so that's a new reputation formula. Those are 7 things that you need to do to increase your reputation, 3 things you need to decrease to increase your reputation, and here they are, right? So, I'm just going to go everything at once, right? So we can talk a little bit about this, right? But that's the reputational formula here, right? So career reputation is you taking responsibility, because the more responsibility you take, the more interesting problems you're going to resolve, right? Also, you have an expertise. Skills are fundamental for us to have, to really build a reputation. You cannot have a reputation if you have no skills, right? And then purpose, right? Focus. You have to have a clear purpose. You have to have a reason why you're doing what you're doing, right? And purpose is something that people are very afraid of having, because we kind of think that, if I focus in one thing, I miss everything else, right? That's why actually in the new reputational formula, you're talking about purpose and not focus anymore, because focus is very easy for us to think that we have to focus on tools, and purpose something larger than that, right? And that's what we want, right? We want to have a clear direction, a clear thing that we want to do, a clear purpose, right? And then you have to uplift. That means you have to help other people to grow, right? Help other people to uplift themselves, right? So you have to be a giver. You have to be someone that helps others, because of course your reputation is, people that help others, people that uplift the people, those around us, we see them as helpful people, as people that have a better reputation, right? And then of course you have to take action. There's no reputation of people that just talk, right? I'm sure you know someone, a friend of yours, that is just talk. They talk, but they actually don't do anything. And so people that just talk and don't do things, they have a very bad reputation, in fact, right? Although the formula is only for positive reputation. We're not talking about negative reputation here, what's possible, but the formula doesn't deal with that. But if you don't take action, people don't see the value of what you're doing, right? And you need to have autonomy. You need to do things yourself, right? And that means, right, you have to be consistent. You have to do the things that need to be done. Autonomy has a level of responsibility also, right? So autonomy is the ability for you to do what needs to be done, for you decide what you're going to do. And the more autonomy you have, the more you can do the important things, right? Because if you don't have a lot of autonomy, you're just doing what other people are telling you to do. And that's hard to build a reputation by doing what other tells you to do. But if you have a degree of autonomy, then you can do the right things. You can do the things that are important. And that will gonna get you a way more reputation, right? And of course, trust, right? Reputation is what people believe about you. And the more they trust you, the more your reputation are. And trust has a level of visibility in here, right? Because I cannot trust someone that I don't know who that person is. I cannot trust someone that I never seen anything from them, right? So trust has a level of familiarity, of visibility. I need to know who you are. I need to be in contact with you for me to trust you, right? And so those are the 7 things that you need to do. You need to increase reputation. And then the three things you need to reduce to increase your reputation. Remember that what's on the bottom, you have to reduce them to increase your reputation. And the first one is to be like an I person, right? A me person. Also, everyone knows that person, someone that works on your team, that you know is a friend of yours, that they always talk about themselves. It's, everything they say is I did this, I did that, me, I. And people that talk too much about themselves, people that throw confetti at themselves, they everyone realized that they only throwing confetti at themselves. They only talking about themselves because they actually don't do anything. They're not an expert. They have to put themselves up because because they actually don't have the expertise, right? So don't be that person. Don't be the me person. Don't be the I person. And of course, lies, right? Outright lies. Do not, always say the truth, or at least don't lie. Lies are career destroying reality. If you lie and people realize you're lying, then they stop trusting you. They stop believing the things you're doing, right? So lies are very, very destructive for your career. And last but not least, you have to reduce your negativity, right? Don't be that negative person, that person that always correcting others, always saying that things are wrong, always saying that's not going to work. Being that negative person, that person that it's very hard to work with someone like this. And you can see negativity in there's a very special type of person that you can see negative working. Is that person that tells you, oh, no, I say the truth. Have you ever heard that person that tells you things that hurt, always correcting you, always saying that what you're doing is wrong or something like this? And they say, no, I'm not being me, I'm just telling the truth, right? you know and that's the terrible thing. People that hide behind the truth, right? Because I said don't lie, so they hide behind the truth. They're negative, they're hurtful, just to be right, just to show that they are right and you're wrong, right? So that's not a good person to be. So we can talk about all those traits here with more details. We can answer some questions and all these. But the interesting thing about the reputation formula is that this is a formula, right? And you can see it's all times, right? That means things do balance out. So, for example, if you don't want to have, let's say that you have lots of expertise, but you don't want to help much people, right? So you don't want to do uplifting a lot. So yes, you don't need to be like, giving everything you have, or participating, helping out the user group, or doing all kinds of other activities. You need a little bit of that to not be zero, but you can focus more on your expertise, for example, and less on the giving part, right? Or the same thing for maybe autonomy, right? You might not want a lot of autonomy because autonomy requires responsibility, and so you might want to, or maybe visibility. You might not want to be extremely visible, but you're going to be very focused, right? You're going to take lots of responsibility. You're going to work on the most important project. You're going to take lots of action. So those things balance out a little bit, right? And so the important thing is that none of this be zero, right? Because if you're not doing any of one of those things, then the whole thing disbalance a lot, right? So it's impossible for you to take responsibility without taking action, for example, right? It's impossible for you to build trust if you have no expertise. It's impossible for you to help others, uplift others, if you don't have a clear purpose in life, right? So so those things balance out, but they cannot be zero. And that's it, guys. That's reputation formula. That's the new version of it. I was saying here that we have a, let's see if I can stop sharing here for a minute. Well, actually, if you can take it off, Luis, thank you. So that's the reputation form right here. I have this very, very nice sticker that fits pretty cool in your laptop, on your cell phone, right? And says reputation in it. I still have one last one from the old version, right? You can see The new version, the old version is just yes. Thank you. The new version, the old version, it's the same concepts, but with slightly different words. And so that's the new reputation formula. It was presented at JCon this year, and now I'm traveling around Europe to help people out build their reputation, grow their careers.
Yeah, amazing. Much easier now to remember the
Much
formula.
easier, right? Yeah, even I can remember it, right? Because I could not remember before.
Yeah. Now I think, Bruno, maybe you should ask ChatGPT to create a music from this formula. Maybe
Music,
a jingle.
yeah,
Yes,
jingle, right?
remember.
Yes,
Exactly. One of gets in the mind, so we can always remember that. Stay the
right.
whole day singing it. Sounds
Like
interesting.
IntelliJ did with the intro from The Big Bang Theory for the
Right.
30th anniversary of Java, right? The jingle was amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, Bruno, I have to
Very,
tell
very.
you,
But
I
the
see.
problem is that if I ask ChatGPT to write a music, then I'll have to sing it. And so the thing
Yeah.
that you
This
guys
will be
don't
the
want,
best part.
no, the thing that you guys don't want is me singing anything, right? No, not even happy
Maybe you can
birthday. You
ask
don't want me
ChatGPT
singing
to
anything.
sing for you then.
yeah, you just put your voice, a recording from your voice. You
No,
use
okay,
your
I
voice
think we are going
recording
too far.
Yes, no.
Okay,
You
let's get back
as
to.
I'm saying, you don't want that. You don't want my voice singing anything, man. It's gonna be
Bruno,
terrible.
you can have a puppeteer to
It's gonna
sing
give
for
you
you.
nightmares for the rest of the life.
Yeah, we see here someone saying he have the old formula and needs update now.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
exactly.
we are looking forward
No.
for the next meetup, right, Samuel?
Yeah.
Yes, I still have a few of them. I brought a lot of them here to Europe. I still have a few of them, and I'm going to go to my last event in Europe. So tomorrow I travel to Netherlands, where I'm coming to J Spring, right? So that completes a whole round, right? Because I started in the Netherlands. I've been traveling around all over Europe, and tomorrow I'll complete that trip by getting back to the Netherlands. On the 5th, Thursday, I'm gonna be participating at J Spring at J Spring, the event from the Netherlands Java group, and over there's gonna be several Java champions are gonna be there. Rafael Del Neto is gonna come to help me out. Mark was gonna come to help me out, and we're gonna do a mini mentorship hub, right? Because the event's just one day, so it started by having just one table, but the interest was high, and they ended up giving us 3 tables. So we're gonna have about 15 different mentorships during the day. It's gonna be pretty cool.
And will it be in Amsterdam?
No, it's in Utrecht.
Utrecht.
Yes, Utrecht is the like the business capital in Netherlands, right? That's where most companies have offices there and all that.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. So guys, ask questions, man. You're we are here. Andre is also here, right? So ask questions. What you guys want to talk about?
I really like this new version of the reputation formula, like our friends mentioned. It's much easier to get. Maybe since this is easier to get, it's even easier to remember, especially the pros. The cons, I believe they were very clear for at least for us. Unfortunately, not for everyone. And even talking about one of the cons, I believe the negativity one. Uh, how can, that's just a question, Bruno. How
Mhm.
can we handle? We can apply that, of course, reduce that on ourselves. But when
Mhm.
you're in a business, when you're in a company, you deal with a lot of people. How
Mhm.
can we deal with people that are doing negativity and trying to put negativity on you, and even put your own reputation in the work down. And do you have any tips for that? I'm not facing anything like this in the last years, at least, thank God. But I've faced that in a very long time ago.
Yeah, I think that this is true, right? So, a negative person uh, ends up affecting everyone, and the way people kind of handle it is that at some point they will stop paying attention, right? They stop caring. They're just gonna say, "Yeah, that's you know that's old John, right? He's always complaining about everything, right?" So just kind of people just dismiss you, and I think that's an important thing. When you're trying to build our reputation, that's an important thing that we have to understand is that if you get to that level, that people are just dismissing you, people are just ignoring what you're saying, right? They're ignoring, that's the same idea of the boy that cried, "Oh, wolf," right? The boy keeps saying wolf, 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 and so everyone starts ignoring him, and that's exactly what happens with someone that's like always this, always negative, is that people will they stop paying attention to you, right? They will stop listen to what you have to say. They will move away from you, right? And so and that's the thing you can do, right? In a company, you're not obligated to deal and be friends or work with everyone just because they're part of your company, right? And so what happens that people will just stop paying attention to that person, and that's the best thing you can do is ignore, right? And then and once you ignore, then if you are that person that gets ignored, then your whole reputation goes right goes watered down, right? Because no one's paying attention to you, no one cares about what you're doing, no one cares about your opinion, no one cares about what you're saying. And we can see that I'm sure sometimes we even pass by this, right? But I'm sure you've seen those persons that are ignored in the office, for example, and maybe there's a conversation going on, and maybe this person is telling you something, they're telling you a story, or they're talking about something, and then people around them just change subjects, and that person just never finished what they had to say because everyone around them just ignore it, right? And so and it's kind of pitiful sometimes when you see that situation happening, and then the person trying to continue the story, trying to get back, and some and so yeah, it's really bad, man. It's really bad when you are that person, right? And so one of the best ways for you to prevent that is exactly taking care of the negativity, right? Because we don't actually see this as negativity, because we keep like correcting people. For example, we keep kind of slightly telling that they're wrong, so for example, the person's talking about, "Oh yeah, because I did that project, and I was thinking about doing the project in Kotlin because Kotlin is the best language for AI, right?" And then the person says, "Oh no, you mean Python, right? Not Kotlin, right?" See that person that keeps correcting what you said, right? And that's really annoying, because you're just trying, is the person just trying to show that they are right and you're wrong, right? And so yeah, because everyone says wrong things, everyone misspell a word, everyone confuses something, right? And you can be part of the conversation in a much nicer way, right? So for example, let's say someone is doing like this and they mistake and say Kotlin instead of Python, for example, right? And then you can just say later on, you can say, "Yeah, I'm also really interested in Python because Python is such a great language for AI." I mean, you don't have to correct the person, you don't have to say that they're wrong, right? You can just continue the conversation, and everyone is going to feel much better for that. Then you can say, "But Bruno, does that mean that I have just to accept that things are wrong?" No, it's just to understand that conversations are conversations, right? If you it's different than we have to do. Oh, yes, we have to do a specification here and have to be very formal, but that's usually not what we're doing, right? And so you don't need to be that person that keeps correcting, keeps pointing the mistakes of others, especially in a group of people, right? It's very common that those kind of people, they will, when you're in a group of people, they'll point out your mistakes, they'll point out your flaws, right? They'll say things, you no one, oh yes, oh, long time that I don't see you, you look so much fatter, right? It's like, you look fat, or this kind of things, right? That's kind of the things that you have to do, that that many times you have to learn not to be like this, right?
Absolutely.
Let me add something. Some time ago happened to me. So I got in a trap, like a trap. Someone asked me, like, "Oh, is this possible to make this done like in this amount of time?" In a meeting that I was involved like 10 minutes before, and I just said, "No, we're gonna need a little more time." And then, boom, I was labeled as the negative person of the room. So, oh my god, you get like, and then it's hard to get out of these things. So,
Right.
because it was not exactly my my point there, say, to be the negative person. So the no person, And
Hmm.
how do you have any tip to get out of these kind of situations? Of course, after the meeting, because the meeting was happening like it's very fast. So how can we do that, like to get out of this kind of situation?
Yeah, one of the problems that we have with reputation, right, is that once you have a negative view of someone, uh, it's harder to change that view, right? I think some research were saying that if you do something good for a person, they take like a year to forget that you did something good for them. But if you do something bad for the person, it takes like 5 years for the person to forget, right? So so we are way more attuned, like, to the negative things, to the things that hurt us, to the things that we, for some reason, we did not like. And so yes, people will remember you more for the negative things that you did, but not necessarily for the mistakes, right? Mistakes are different than you doing something negative for me. And so so now, if you are labeled something, right, whatever it is, right, oh, you are the difficult person, or the negative person, or the person that says no, or the person that's, first of all, it could be interesting for you to learn from the people why they think that, right? So having a conversation with someone could be a good thing for you to understand. And and then a way to change that is to associate yourself with more positive things, right? And the positive things also, people get very used to positive things very fast too. So even if you next time, instead of you saying no, right, you ask some questions, right, or something like this, that might be enough for people to start changing your perspective about you. And so one thing that I that sometimes is better, right, is that if you want to be a negative, if you want to say no, if you want to do like this, try to do more in private instead of in the group, right? So, for example, someone says, hey, can you do this? Let me look at it. Can I ask you some questions? I'll come back, or something like this. But sometimes it's not possible, right? So you're in a meeting, everyone has to make a decision, and you're the guy that knows more about it, and you say no, we're not going to do it in that time. That might just be what it is, right? And that's not you being negative, right? But it is true. I mean, Andre, for example, we're having the user group today, and I told some things for him that I told him, said, you're gonna hate me for saying this, right, Andre? And I told some things for him that that maybe he did not like, but half an hour later he's here with us, right? So he did not mind too much. So
Because you are telling the truth.
right. Well, telling the truth can also be hurtful. Remember that, right? So we saw, sometimes we got to be very nice.
Hey, Bruno, but I believe that it really changes a lot respecting to the culture, because in Europe, we tend to be much more direct in the communication, and people often accept that much easier compared to South America. I don't know how it is in North America, but I felt a huge difference when I moved from Europe to South America. I could not communicate so straight. You need to be more kind, just like you just mentioned with the people, so they don't get that very personal. In Europe, we just can be more direct, and they don't take that much person. So there are also these different nuances from one place to another. Maybe Pedro can tell us how it is in North America, since you're there.
Oh yeah. Well, it's different, right? We have like North America. It's not exactly the same. I thought, for example, that here in Canada it would be like that, because we know that in US it's like that, right? You have much people are much more direct. But actually, I realized that it's not. So I don't know. It's because of the mixed cultures we have here in Canada, but we need to be careful when we are when we want to be direct. Of course, people ask you to be direct, but you need to be careful, right? But as I said, it's probably a mixed culture way, so it's probably completely different companies here, right? And it's
Yeah, and I think that we get this whole thing about being direct, right? I think that sometimes we get it wrong. It's one thing for you, for you to be direct and talk about things. The other thing is for it to be hurtful, right? Those are different things, right? And I do understand that some cultures, we kind of, if you have to say something hard, we go around, and we don't want to go directly to the topic and all this, and we have the meeting, and we go around talking about how the sun was, and if you went to the beach and all of that, right? We have other conversations around, and some other cultures, you come in, and you do the meeting, and you go, and then you go away. But there is a difference being direct and being hurtful, right? It's so the whole thing we're talking about before. It doesn't matter which culture you are. If you keep correcting the person, if you keep disagreeing with the person, keeping there's there's one way to disagree because you have a different opinion, right? The other way because because you said a word wrong, or you said your English is not perfect, for example, and the person keeps correcting you. So all these kind of things are sometimes are what hurts you more.
Yeah, I agree. I believe there is also a word for that. Is small hurts or something like that. People is always doing that step by step. They look like inoffensive, but during time it hurts. It hurts the person. I've also experienced that in the past, and this was not good at all.
Right.
Hey, I have a question for Andre, but first I wanted to show that Basler is here with us, and he's saying, "I'm
Hi,
just vibing
Basler.
while generating a reputation song." Nice.
Hey, Basler, how you doing, man? Okay, so good. Let's hear Basler. Now it's gonna be a repetition song in your voice, Basler. That might work.
So my question for Andre is, since you're involved with events like the Vox and Jug Meetups, how can we improve our reputation by going in this kind of events?
Yeah. So there are two sides. If you organize such event or you are participating in these events. If you organize these events, yeah, it's I think maybe not automatically, but you become visible and your reputation will be improved by maybe not organizing even the big conference, but even small meetup, and by this you become more recognizable. And if you're attending this conference, automatically it will not bring you a lot of improvement or speed up your reputation if you're only attending. You should communicate with people, you should communicate with speakers, you should ask questions to speakers, and in such way you will be recognizable, and not only for speaker but all audience. And in this way other participants could also would like to talk with you, because if you are asking some interesting question, other participants can reach you and can say, oh, you had a great question, and I also thinking about the same problem or the same situation. Let's talk about it. And maybe it's not more about more reputation, more about social extending your social contact, your
Network.
friends, your community surrounding you.
And what about giving talks in these events?
Giving talks, it is the third part of involvement in this organization or speaking at the conferences. By giving the talk, you increase a lot of your reputation, because you will be treated as an expert. If you are talking about something, automatically for audience, you will be recognized as an expert in this topic. And people from audience can even ask you questions that you don't know the answer, but it will stimulate you to educate yourself to answer those questions. And after this, I read some stories about when even well-known speakers, after some questions, write the blog post dedicated to the question from the audience. And will be also in any way, if you're speaking, it will improve your reputation, experience a lot, not only in some topic, but improve your reputation in presenting something to the auditorium. And it's the great and a new experience.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that, Andre, that you mentioned. If you don't know the answer, I've heard. I don't know if it was even Bruno that mentioned it to us sometimes. That just say I don't know, but I will find out the answer. I will give it back to you somehow. So you just put a blog post as an example. For someone that we have here this podcast, we could even bring this as a subject here to talk about it and answer a question that we were not able to answer in a presentation. So, and that's very interactive. And I do see Bruno does a lot with the emails answer that you get. Some answers becomes your own email newsletter, and you keep the ball rolling, right? You get your audience connected with you, and of course these people, when they see that you're answering them, they feel, oh, this guy cared about my question. and probably this person will talk about you, will share your posts, will share your content to others. So I believe that's also part of the reputation.
Yeah, that's the whole idea of the reputation from the uplifting part, right? Where you're actually, it's not only about you, it's about everyone else, right? So you're helping everyone to grow, you're helping everyone, and part of this has everything to do with listening to the person, right? But not only that, right? When you talk about trust in the reputation formula, right? Trust, I can't trust someone that doesn't listen to me, someone that doesn't understand who I am, right? That doesn't if I need help, it just ignores me, right? So that's not that, you can't build trust like this. And also responsibility, right? When you build an audience, you build people that trust you and that come close to you. You're taking responsibility for them, right? Remember from the Le Petit Prince, right? We are here in France, right? So the little prince, when he says that the fox tells him, right? So you are eternally responsible for those that you captivate, right? And that's it, right? So that means that you are responsible, right? So people that come close to you, that you are helping out, that trust is in you, you are eternally responsible for them, right? And so all of these are the things that that you're talking about right there, Igor, because you reputation has to do a lot of others. After all, reputation is what people believe about you, right? And so it's not other things. Reputation is what people believe about you. And so if the people that know you, you're ignoring them, you're not listening to them, you're not helping them out, you're not uplifting them, you're just talking, you're just being me, then your reputation is very, very, very low, because people don't believe good things about you.
Absolutely.
I one thing that I like on this topic, reputation, it changed my mind when I met Bruno already a long time ago, right? We meet each other some years ago, and I think it is the purpose part, but more maybe less than purpose, maybe something I would call being intentional on the reputation,
Mhm.
right? I think that
Mhm.
that's something changed a lot on my side, and I see lots of people, lot of other developers that struggling on. Um, okay, I'm here, I'm working, but I don't know if I am in the right place, if I am growing or not. And
Mhm.
something very clear is that this is missing some focus or something that uh, they they themselves have some passion. Passion is too strong, but I think they are attached to, they are interested in, and um, and 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 not just interested by I don't know, entertainment. I think being intentional on that interest, I think it's something that changes a lot. Like when Andre mentioned it here, that you work with distributed software, distributed problems, and then I already know that there's something that distributed stuff, distributed challenges is something that Andre will know very well, or at least he will be crunching this type of problems at the breakfast and doing and know a lot about that topic, and that was so nice to have when you are connected with what you want to do and you express it at some way, like Andrew made here. I felt like, okay, this is when you start build you express your reputation to others. You start building your reputation, right? One thing that I always have challenges to, I don't know, I try to remember how Bruno made it when we talk each other. it's something is difficult to find this, to work on this focus on each person. Some has this FOMO problem, right? The fear of missing out. So they don't want to have some focus. They don't want to have some purpose, and that's a challenge because without this focus, I think it's very difficult to know if you are happy or not, if you are doing something that is important for you or not, and if you are, if you are getting results or not, because you don't know what direction you want to go. So both, this is a question for both Andre and Bruno. I don't know if you, Andre, actually, if you have had any challenge to, okay, I like distributed challenges. I would like to work on this. I would like to be recognized as an expert on this field. How was this journey? How was this the way that you got into your focus? Same to Bruno, but Bruno, I think I asked you before, but I think it's interesting to share with everyone.
So my focusing on distributed systems started from I have heard some talk on the conference. Yeah, and I would like this topic, and I decided to dig a little bit deeper inside it and start reading around articles. Then I found the famous Martin Kleppmann book, Building Data Intensive Application. And it is the first part. And the second part, as I am also work at university as a lecturer or assistant professor, so I giving lectures, and I decided so the best way is that I can teach something by myself if I put myself in some condition that I should talk about this topic as people, and I decided to invent or introduce a new university course about the distributed systems. So I am maybe in simultaneously educate myself, teach myself, and educate after this students. And so I am inventing some practical task for them. It was built the distributed replicated log. Yeah, and I also implemented it by myself before that to understand that it's possible to do doable thing for the students, and in such way I start going deep in this topic. So in the current moment, it's maybe not about cracking the distributed system problems during the breakfast. It's more about understanding that how many problems have no solutions yet. And when you're trying to study something, when you're going deep, you open the new horizons of understand how the broad the actual problem is. It's you understand how you know a little thing about this topic, and how you should continue educate yourself in this way.
Yeah.
So that's my current stage.
I found interesting that Hugo's questions, like, because you had the fear of missing out, right? So you find a focus, you're missing something out, right? But the reality is that when you constrain something, you actually increase your creativity, you increase your results, right? And so for example, if you're gonna write a tweet instead of an article, right? So you have to be more creative to write a tweet because it's constraining, right? And I think that's one of the things that we have to understand is that the moment you focus on something and you focus on the problem, right? So don't focus on the tools, don't focus on the technology, but focus on the problem. What problem you solve? For in one side, you reduce the scope, right? For sure. So, for example, if I say my focus is Java, it's one thing, right? But if I say my focus is back end and Java, right? So in a way, you reduce the scope, right? But and you can reduce even more. You can say, my focus is, solving, I don't know, performance problems in large financial applications in the cloud with Java, right? So that's like a much, much more specific scope. But the moment you do this, the moment you have this very specific thing, it's funny because in a way, this focus I just mentioned here, right? Performance problems in financial applications in the cloud with Java. This is more specific than Java, right? It's way more specific than Java because there's lots of things that Java talks about, mobile devices and security and desktop. They're never going to need to look at, right? But at the same time, it's much, much broader than Java because now there's all these other concepts like cloud computing and performance and stability and financial business, right? There's all these other concepts that are much, much larger than Java. So it's funny that your focus, that's why you say that the focus kind of promotes creativity, right? Because the focus really helps you expand your ideas and not reduce your ideas, right? So the more specific you are, the more you can foray into other areas, the more you can experiment other areas. Because when you're too broad, then everything falls into what you have to learn, you have to do, and then you just get lost. When you focus on something, you focus on the problem, you can use all kinds of tools to solve the problem, right? So if you're focused on performance in the cloud for financial applications, man, you can use all kinds of tools you want, right? You can use AI, you can use DevOps, you can use testing, you can use all of that to solve that problem, right? And I think that we show strengths are actually positive for us, right? If I want to write a book, for example, and I say, yeah, I'm going to write a book about everything that I know or all my experiences, right? Then you have nothing to write. You have nothing, nowhere to start, nowhere to end. Right? It's just kind of just this bunch of unrelated things. But if you decide I'm going to write a book about how senior developers can grow their careers, now you focus your idea, you focus what you want, and then you can get all these crazy things in your head and you can apply all of them to one thing, and that's how results are happening.
So guys, we are approaching the end of our session here. So maybe if you want to do a final round of comments, feel free to start.
Well, thank you very much for being here, Bruno and Andre, with you guys. As I mentioned at the beginning, also it's a pleasure to be with you guys again after these 2 months of Euro trip. We've been through Europe, Bruno on some countries and I on others. Unfortunately, our planning didn't match to be together. But next time I will take my baby crying.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, right? So we were in Europe at the same time. We passed by the same countries, but in different times, right? And then, exactly. And so that's kind of how life happens. And we did a retreat in the Netherlands, right? It was awesome. That many people, Luis told me I wanted to come, right, but I can't. And you were here and you couldn't come either, right? So it's like,
yeah, it was very challenging to be with the family and with a 2-year-old baby, but we made it somehow. But we will do a neuro trip together, Bruno. I'm feeling that in the future, without a baby in in my arms, will be much easier to travel together. And subject, congratulations for the new reputation formula. I think that's much more intuitive and easier to understand. And also congratulations for your Euro trip. I believe you're touching a lot of great developers across Europe, and they are really helpful for having you there. And we also will be really glad when you're back with us here.
Yeah, I'll be there. Florianopolis. TDC Florianopolis is next week, right? So
Yeah,
the trip never ends. It's a never ending trip.
that's great. That's
I like
great.
trip. Cool. But I just want to say thanks Bruno, thanks Andre. Andre, if you want to bring some topic regarding to distributed system, we're gonna be very interested to have you here to talk about it. So
Yeah,
lots of people love to get into this complex world of distributed systems. So and yeah, I think Bruno just remember we're going to TDC Florianopolis next week. There's a Brazilian tech development event, the largest one in the Latin America. Yeah, so we're gonna be together there, and yeah, I think that's it. I don't know, Luis, Chila, Pedro.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'd also want to thank everyone, thank the audience, thank Bruno, thank you, Henry, thank the others. And yeah, I totally agree with you, Hugo. Henry, you are more than invited if you want to talk about distributed system here. And Bruno, the same for you. I think you are more than invited again and again to be here because the reputation formula, there are many things. We didn't cover all the reputation formula, so we have more to talk about. And also, we need a song, right? So I think we need you again to sing for us. If you have 100 likes, we have Bruno singing in the next session.
No, I'm not gonna promise a song, Thiago, but I can show the manifesto, right? There is a manifest for reputation, right? So we can talk about that one. How about that? It's a compromise. I'm not gonna do this song. I can do the manifest. How about that?
I believe Basler already have the song ready. He's singing, play this song, play this song.
Yes.
Right. So do you have a link, Basler, for your song? If you have a link for your song, man, we can play the song. Right. Yeah, very cool.
Yes. I also would like to thank you, both Bruno and Andre, that you joined today's session. So I think it was a very interesting conversation from different perspectives. So I enjoyed it a lot. And you are invited, of course, Andre, for one of the next sessions.
Thank you. Yeah, I will be very happy to share my experience, yeah, and educate everybody from the ground up level, yeah, to open the world when you started from Java and then go deep into the low level stuff.
Very cool. One thing I want to say here publicly, right? So, actually, both Chila and Andre, when I was in Switzerland, Chila was extremely special. She took us, me and Rafael, to this amazing place on the top of Switzerland, and go all the way up to the mountains, and we have some great conversations there. And it was a very, very special day. Thanks a lot, Chila. I already told you this when we were there, but it was really, really, look, when we're traveling, it's kind of like a mixture of things because you want to visit. Link is invisible. Oh no, Baslor, you cannot publish a link in YouTube. The link on YouTube, they remove the link. So you have to send to us in another format. Send on Discord or something else like this, Buzzword. It's not going to work on YouTube. Send to Luis on Discord and see if you can see that, right? Or maybe leave for the next one. I don't know. So I think it was very special that Chila took us there. And when you're traveling, That's something I said to Andre today, right? When you're traveling, especially for work, basically it's very easy for you to not want to do things, right? So you don't have a lot of time, you're very busy, and you're just tired, right? And so you don't want to do things. And so Tila organized this whole trip for us, on her holiday, right, where you can go and climb the mountains, all that. And so because she did that, because she organized, we actually did it, right? And it was totally amazing. It was like one of the best trips I ever done. So thanks a lot, Tila. And same thing for Andre, because today I did not even know Andre was here, right? So I did not know he lived here. And then he came to the user group meeting that I was, and when he finished, he said, "Look, Bruno, I'll walk you around. I'll show you some of the things of the city, before." And I really appreciate, because his wife was on the hospital with his son. Everything's fine, everything is okay, right? But it was like a little scary thing. But he said, "No, they're fine. I'm monitoring here, right? We can walk a little bit, and then whenever needs, I can go." And so he basically sharing his personal time, his family time here with me, and he took me to amazing place, and we were walking on the street. I mean, we are this tiny little streets, and all the houses very close to each other, and we're just walking like this, and said, "I'm going to show you some nice place and everything." And suddenly we walk out of the corner, and there's this massive, gigantic cathedral that's huge, goes all the way to the sky, like just like huge wall of statues and beautiful things right in front of you. It's like, it's such an amazing view. I was not expecting at all, because I didn't realize that Strasbourg has such an amazing place, an amazing cathedral like this. And Andre didn't tell me, "Oh yes, now you're gonna turn the corner, you're gonna see the cathedral." Nothing like this, right? So it's just like I walk around, like, whoa, this awesome place. So that's kind of the feeling that we have, and being able to experiment this world. And it's much, much nicer to experiment those places, Switzerland and Strasbourg and other places, when we have a friend, right? So thank you very much for both of you for doing this. And of course, that's the same thing that we're doing here, right? Every time I come here to the Out of the Box, this group of friends here, we open up this new possibilities, this new world, these new ideas by having these discussions. And so thank you, all of you guys, for guiding us through this.
Thank you, Bruno. Thank you, Andre, for being here today with us. And thanks, everyone, for joining us as well. I hope you join us again the next session. So that's
but now we need to play the song, because Basler sent you.
Yeah. Basler sent us here the song.
Right. So how do we do that? Can you play here?
Let's see. I'm a bit afraid. Behold,
we can share it. Let's see.
Please stop here. Let's see. Basler, if it sounds great, and change the opening sound with this one. I don't know how to. How can I actually play it? Share my. Let's see.
You need to share your Chrome tab. You share your Chrome tab.
I think you have to share a tab, and then you have to share with audio.
And then play it.
Okay, let me see here.
Get ready, audience.
Get ready, audience.
This is
the
next
fully developed by AI.
Just so we realize, we might need to, depending on what kind of song it is, we may need to remove this video from the internet later, right? So we don't know. We don't know what's going to be.
I hope not.
I don't think so.
Yeah, can you see? Let me put the screen here.
Yeah, we can see it.
I've got a formula for beauty my name. Okay.
Sounds interesting. Just play the song. Get ready.
I've got a formula for building my name. It's not about fortune, it's not about fame. It's R for responsibility, that's where it starts. Then E for expertise, straight from the heart. P is for purpose, know why you do. Uplift others, make them better too. Take action with autonomy, stand tall, and trust is the glue that binds it all. Career reputation, it's a multiplication built on values, not just presentation. But don't let outright lies or infinite negativity drag you from the sky. Reputation, so keep it honest, keep it kind, and you will shine again. Don't inflate your ego, don't spread those lies. Negativity only dims your skies. But take the high road and you will see your rep will grow exponentially. Career reputation, it's elevation, a balanced life, a real foundation. Just remember this little fraction, your name's defined by thought and action.
Wow.
Amazing,
Very
amazing.
good, Basur. Very good.
Really like it.
Yeah, from the first
Right.
time.
That's
to
cool, man.
revelation.
Awesome.
I really enjoyed it.
That is cool.
We need a session to learn how to do these things.
Yeah. Thank you, Baslur, for the contribution. We're gonna be.
Yes.
Oh, we got also all the audience stayed here just to listen until the end of this episode. So I think it was successful AI
Success.
creation.
It was amazing.
So
That's very cool. Very cool, Baslur. Awesome, man.
great ending.
Yeah.
Great ending.
Perfect.
All right.
So
That's
thanks
it,
everyone.
guys.
Let's not spoil the ending by continuing to talk.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
It was great.
Perfect. So thanks everyone again. See you next session. See you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Everyone.
Bye bye.
See ya.